Alright, so I'm changing, or I'm quote unquote upgrading to the adjustable end bell on the Ghost motor. So this is the original one. I just want to give you guys an idea of what these things look like in terms of bearings. And shimming, I mean, even the shimming on this, these are I assume these are your Hall sensors, 1, 2, and 3, or A, B, and C rather. And from what, I mean, I've never really tuned motors much or at all, but from what I know, or what I thought I knew, you want to have the rotor itself as close to those as possible. And this is not very close. But this is what we're looking at. This is just a blown up rotor from a different motor. Same shaft size, obviously. But we can see that the free spin is pretty abysmal. And these are just stock bearings, of course. So one of the biggest things, I always preach about is just changing from grease or thick oil and bearings to a thinner oil. And you see massive improvements in free spin. And generally I think that's what you see a lot of the time. And when somebody goes from ceramics, or I mean from stock bearings or steel bearings to ceramics, generally the gain that they see is from going from grease to a thin drag coefficient oil. So this is the new end bell, and it's even worse. So I'd never opened up this Ghost motor. I haven't ran it very long, to be honest with you. But yeah, we're gonna try to see if we can, since we're quote unquote upgrading to the adjustable one, I'm gonna try to see if I can get this open, clean it out a little bit, put some oil in it, and we'll see what the difference looks like. If not, I'll just put a couple drops of thin oil in it and we'll see the benefit. Okay, so I just want to show you guys. So I was able to get the C-clip off this one, get the shield off. I like to use a fishing hook and be very careful not to lose this. I actually almost lost this one. Thankfully, I was able to find it. But anyway, what I really want to show you is just how much grease is packed into this bearing. This is actually the most I've ever seen. So it's pretty evident why there was not much free spin going on with this end bell. So I'm gonna clean that out. We're gonna oil it up with something, something that's oil and not grease, and we'll show you the difference. It is worth noting, obviously the reason they do this is this will take way less maintenance, whereas using a really thin oil like Zubek Speed Lube, awesome stuff by the way, will require a regular maintenance schedule, where this will go for quite a while. And when I say regular, this is so thin, I mean even bearings and things like this, it's almost at a drop like every time you go out, in my opinion. Anyway, yeah, I'll try to get that out, and we'll see what it looks like after we're done. Alright, you can see we've done... So what I did first is I took an air compressor, blew the grease out. Don't be dumb, wear eye protection. You get shit like that in your eye, it's not going to be good. After that, we hit it with some brake clean, and then spun the other old rotor around in there, blew it out, hit it with brake clean again, spun the rotor in there, blew it out. This is what we got. So you can see it's relatively grease-free, but I think the results in free spin is, I mean, if you haven't done this before, you're probably going to shit yourself. So we saw, about what we had before, and here's what we have now. So there's no oil in here yet, which oil will, maybe slow it down like a little bit, but something like Zubek Speed Lube, not much. Just check the difference out here. So that's a pretty big difference. I almost feel like I still feel some grease in there. This bearing's running, you know, a million times better than what it was doing with all that grease. Again, maintenance is going to become a thing, but the performance gain you get is significant. So I'll go ahead and just hit it with a drop of this Zubac, and we'll just see what it looks like. Oops, that was 2. Yeah, that was 3. It's so thin, it goes that quick. So we'll kind of spin this around in here. I'm not sure all the grease is out of there, to be honest with you. But I'll snap this back in, spin that around a little bit, and we'll see what the old Zubac Speed Lube gets for us. It's looking pretty good so far. All right, you guys ready for this? Here we go. There we go. I think that was better than without oil. But yeah, that's the, just to demonstrate the difference and what a little bit of maintenance work on this will do for you. It's pretty significant. Oil versus grease, big difference. So if you want to get some more performance out of your stock motor or any motor that hasn't been quote unquote tuned, where this is probably a large portion of where they see the gains, yeah, you might want to take it apart and see if it's greased or see if it's got thick oil, and see if you can clean that out, and or replace the bearing, with a ceramic bearing or whatever, if you know how to do that. I don't even know how to do that. I gotta learn that one of these days, but servicing these gets a pretty good gain as well. Anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, I guess we'll see you next time.